Gentlemen, thank you so much for staying with us this late in the evening. We have plenty to discuss. Let me start with you, Dr. Atwol. The North Rift is assumed to be a Jubilee stronghold, but NASA has been making a lot of work there. They even endorsed Governor Madowo. How is the North Rift going to vote in this election? If you can look into your crystal ball for us.
Yeah, looking into the crystal ball, it's not at this point possible to say clearly who between Governor Madowo and Buzeki is going to win. At the moment, I think it will look to me that Governor Madowo has an upper hand because he's been there, he's an incumbent, and he has support, especially in the rural areas of Wasingishu. However, Buzeki is a new quantity that is going to be a bit difficult for people to forecast how he's going to perform. And within the urban areas, especially in town, it has looked like he really has pretty strong support. However, I think if you look at the politics of the North Rift, it's not the same as what we had in the previous elections. The incumbent, who is the Jubilee Party candidate, has received support from NASA. The independent candidate is claimed to have support from the Jubilee Party. So it's very confusing if you look at it, and therefore it's very difficult for one to make an outright prediction and say so-and-so is going to win this outright. Okay,
let's leave it there for the moment. I'm coming back to you, but in Mombasa, we saw a most fascinating thing happen today when Raila Odinga in his one of his last rallies at Mamangino Drive brought up Governor Hassan Joho and Senator Hassan Omar and tried to make peace between them, and that didn't work out, Yusuf. Well, what exactly is going to pan out here? Because there seems to be some serious bad blood between Governor Joho and Senator Omar. I wonder if Yusuf heard me. I'm going to try and ask that question one more time.
Yeah.
All right, I think Yusuf has trouble hearing me. I'll jump back. Yeah, Yusuf certainly has trouble hearing me. I'll go to Mboya and Kisumu for the moment. The big one in Kisumu County is definitely between the governor of Kisumu and the governor candidate, Senator Anyang' Nyong'o. How is this going to play out, and will that affect how the votes of Raila Odinga in Kisumu and the Nyanza region? Tom?
Yes, Larry, thanks. The politics of this region is very interesting. One, there's so many factors that have come into play to define or to underpin the voting pattern that is expected on Tuesday, 8th.
Right.
One, the incumbent is an independent candidate versus NASA's candidate in the name of Professor Nyong'o. And the factors that is going to define the 8th elections as far as the candidates of the governorship are concerned are the following. One, the credibility of the elections. And this must be traced back to the clarion call for the reforms of the IBC, which saw a number of demonstrations in the Kisumu city, which of course ultimately led to the death of innocent lives. And since that, Larry, the citizens of Kisumu country have been looking forward to credible elections. And if you look at all these calls, Larry, they look upon what the NASA's presidential candidate has been saying. And NASA's presidential candidate vis-a-vis the NASA's governor candidate, which is, in this case, Professor Nyong'o, has a better edge over the incumbent of Jack Ranguma.
All right. We'll wait to see how that turns out on Tuesday. It's going to be very
Larry.
interesting. Yes, yes, Tom. I want to go back to Yusuf now in Mombasa and talk about, again, that other governor contest between Governor Hassan Joho and Senator Hassan Omar. Even Raila Odinga could not get the two of them to agree today. What did you make of that?
Larry, you asking me or?
Yes, I'm asking Yusuf. I'm asking Yusuf Aboubakar in Mombasa.
Or Yusuf?
Yes, Larry.
Even the NASA presidential candidate, Raila Odinga, could not get Hassan Omar and Hassan Joho in Mombasa. Will that affect his vote in the coast? All right, we have so much trouble with that hearing out of Mombasa. I apologize for that. But I feel like Mboya wanted to respond to that because that is within the NASA fold, and that I'm sure a lot of people in Kisumu and in the Nyanza region are interested in what's happening in Mombasa because Joho is seen as a potential future leader for NASA. Tom, jump in.
Yes, Larry, Mombasa, just like other NASA strongholds, resonates the same, whether Kisumu, Turkana, Mombasa, Nairobi, and so forth. And what we witnessed in Mombasa, to me, I was not surprised. One, it has been a contest between Joho and Omar. And if you look at the body language, spiritually or otherwise, between Kalonzo Musyoka and Raila Odinga, of course, both of them agree to the fact that it is a contest between the two titans. And therefore, it's a question of who really has marshaled enough supporters. And in this case, I don't want to speak to the people of Mombasa, but then it is a wait and see because it's just 2-3 days to the election day, and I want to believe that the decision that will determine the ultimate outcome of the gubernatorial race between Omar and Joho will be served by the electorate. I think it is just a question just like you can see at the presidential level between Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. All right.
But these are not unique to NASA, though. These kind of contests between governors who are in the party are not unique to NASA. We saw today, Dr. Atwol, Governor in Kiambu, Governor Kafogo was in the same stand. And I think today, at least, there was no Ferdinand Waititu in that stand. They were standing right next to Deputy President William Ruto, and they appear to be having a good time, despite the history that's between them. There's similar contest in many other places. For both parties, Jubilee and NASA, this is serious. I wonder how to deal with it, because somebody will be a winner, somebody will be a loser on Tuesday.
Yeah. No, I think at the end of the day, all politics is local.
Right.
So at the end of the day, you're going to see that even the national politics is going to be influenced by what is happening at the grassroots. And therefore, it is going to be more important to see when there's a contest between people within the same political formation, whether it is Jubilee or NASA, you're going to find that a lot of the decisions that are going to be made at the grassroots will influence decisions at the national level. You are hearing in the NASA zones and in the Jubilee zones, people beginning to say, I don't care what you do at the top, vote for me down here. And this is coming from the independents. It is coming from establishment candidates, including candidates in the Jubilee and NASA formations. So slowly but surely, people are realizing the importance of making decisions about who the leaders are in their locality. And this is the kind of thing that the 2010 Constitution of Kenya intended in order to reduce a lot of the tensions at the national level, to introduce more competition at the local level, and to make people within the same homogeneous group, homogeneous community or party, making decisions about their local leadership.
But how is...
So in my view, I think it's a good thing.
Right.
People will start realizing more and more the importance of their single votes. And this is going to be good for the country.
Really quickly, though, do you think the independents will make the big parties be afraid, especially NASA and Jubilee, if we see a number of governors elected as independents, a number of maybe senators go independent? Might that make them start reconsidering how they operate?
I think it is important. It is going to change how they operate. Firstly, how they carry out their nominations, because a lot of these independents are products of botched nominations. Right. And I mean, so going forward, they'll have to change how they nominate their candidates. Secondly, the independents are going to be a challenge on how they will be controlled by the party machinery when the president or parliament requires to marshal votes. So it's going to be a challenge for the establishment parties, and perhaps it will deepen the democracy within those parties and reduce these people who come out and call themselves independents, even though we know they're affiliated to these parties.
All right. I wonder if you talk about that democracy, perhaps in Mombasa is where it's most interesting, Yusuf, because the the four main contenders are ex-ODM or ex-CORD. We've got Hezron Awiti, we've got Suleiman Shabal, who was in Wiper, we've got Hassan Omar, who is within the NASA fold, and we've also got, in that same place, we've also got Governor Joho himself, who's an ODM party, ODM official. Is that democracy, or is it the party kind of eating itself up and dividing its supporters in Mombasa, Yusuf?
I think what is happening in Mombasa, it is expansion of the democratic space within political parties. It appears that ODM has been the popular party, but the problem is that many candidates within ODM do not feel that there is true democracy within political parties. So this is why strong candidates within a party opt to go to different parties, and then that gives stiff competition when it comes to the general election.
But that stiff competition you refer to, Yusuf, what does it say about NASA that on the same stage with the NASA presidential candidate, Raila Odinga can't get Governor Joho and Hassan Omar even to look at each other?
Yeah, the problem is the philosophy behind Mombasa politics. In Mombasa, traditionally, we have that strongman mentality. We want a strongman as a leader. And I think this is a philosophy that Governor Joe has taken. This is why he's called Sultan. He wants to dominate. He wants to dominate the political space. He does not want to give, his supporters does not want to give other candidates an opportunity to compete with Governor Joho, because it may appear to weaken him as a leader. So that strongman mentality is what has dominated the politics of Mombasa. And you know, the voters, most of the local voters are attracted to that kind of mentality. They are attracted to that kind of philosophy, and they think once they have that strong man, then that leader will stand up for their benefit.
Okay, gentlemen, I'm afraid we have to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time. But maybe I'm curious, before you go, each of you really quickly, the 6-piece voting pattern has become very controversial. So in your specific regions, do you think 6-piece or what is called smart casual? People will pick an independent candidate here, one party there, the other. Tom Mboya, 6-piece or smart casual in Nyanza and Kisumu? What do you think?
But Larry, before we go to that, kindly, there's something that I think you brought up which is very critical.
Really quickly, Tom, I have to go. Really quickly, yes.
As far as, one, the 6-piece itself, as I've said before, is not democratic. And one, it depends so much on the popularity of those candidates. So those independent candidates that feel they are popular on the ground, I think they will get it.
Right.
Those candidates that are independent candidates, but they're not popular ground, I think they will not get it.
All right. Okay. Great. And Dr. Lukoye Atwol, in the North Rift, in Uasin Gishu County, 6-piece or smart casual, how do you think this is going to play out? Again, I know I'm asking you to look into the crystal ball, but try anyway.
This is going to be smart casual. I think in many places it's going to be smart casual because it depends on the individual's popularity. Party loyalty is not going to be taken as seriously at the local level as the individual's charisma, individual's appeal to the voters.
Great. And finally, Yusuf, in Mombasa in the coast region, again, 6-piece suit voting pattern or smart casual, do you think?
I think it will be smart casual. There'll be no 6-piece in Mombasa this time.
Excellent.
People will want to vote on candidates with
Okay. Again, he says smart casual. Let's leave it there, gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming on. We hope we can call on you in the days ahead to help us understand this, the most contested election in a generation, like we're calling it. Yusuf Aboubakar in Mombasa, Mboya in Kisumu, and Dr. Lukoye Atwol, you know why I keep saying that, in Eldoret. We appreciate your time, gentlemen.